To set up a GitHub page, we first need to create our repository. The repository needs to take the name of your username.github.io. That's the requirement. You're allowed one username.github.io repository. That is where then you can put pages, but you can have as many pages and submodules or folders within that directory as you see fit. But you only get the one repository. So it has to be your username.github.io. IO. So it has to be that. Now I would recommend that start it out with a README, because the next screen that we come to is far more intelligible and doesn't give us a bunch of cryptic instructions where it's like, put this or this or this in the terminal. We're like, what? Oh, no, I don't want to do that. If you want to create your README file afterward, be my guest. I don't really care. I'm just saying right now, it's a better thing to go ahead and just do that. And it will make you happier. You can make it public. You can put it in a description if you're so inclined. And then after that, create repository. And now it creates that page. So you end up on this pretty page instead of the page that has a bunch of terminal instructions about how to make your GitHub and all this other gobbledygook. And we don't want to go there. So now it has been created, and it's going to be ready for me to start working with it. At this point, I'm going to be sending this to the desktop and creating the index file that goes into this. So I will want to clone this directory to my desktop so I have a correct folder to work with. This is important that we're working with that, to not just an empty folder that we could. It is possible if you have a project in a folder, if you create an empty repository like this, you can, from terminal, you can push the contents of a folder into this repository, so you don't have to clone it and then add your files to it. But that's how we are going to work tonight, is we're going to clone it and work with it. So I copied the link for my clone, clicking on my little clipboard icon. I'm going to navigate to the desktop, and then git clone and clone it. And then I'm going to jump into this folder. And now that I'm in that folder, I will want to switch over to my code editor and make the index file that I'm going to be using within this GitHub page. I can jump over to my code editor, can save this, index.html. The file does need to be called index for it to function properly as part of my GitHub page. So I go into my directory. I'm going to save it as index.html there. If I'm working in Sublime, if I type in HTML and hit the tab key, it gives me a skeleton page. So that's a quick way to get the start of your page. Once we have the index started, we can put a little bit of content in. Again, using Sublime, if you hit P, hit tab when you're working on an HTML file that knows certain tags. Paragraphs are one, and if I hit A and hit tab, it assumes I'm trying to do a link, which is kind of nice too. So some of those things can be nice time savers. I'm just going to put in a paragraph now because I don't have anything to link to yet. We're going to work on getting those links in there in just a moment. This is my first paragraph. Actually, I know what my first one is going to be. It will be, this is my example of Mad Libs. And then I will put a link in that once I know what to link to. I'll have another paragraph. This is my example of Electric Dreams. So we'll put those in and save it. But once we've done this, what we do want to do is now push this document up to our GitHub page or GitHub account, and then we will verify that it's working. So we can drop over into terminal, and then now that we've created our file, then we can work with it. Now the instructions that are on D2L, again, have the set yourself up on your computer. On the web browser, create the repo, copy the link. In terminal, we cloned it. Now we've completed in the code editor, we put some content on our page. Now we're going to add, commit, and push. So git add all, git commit, index, git push, origin master. Switch over to the browser, and now if I refresh this, we'll see there is my index file. Quickly, we have our index file. We've made changes. We've uploaded it. I see there it is. Make it a little bigger so we can see. That's great. All right. Now, an easy way to get to the link is we can now type in the link of our repo, and it would be http:// and then it's the name of your repo, in my case the artboy.github.io. For you it would be your http:// your username.github.io. Now I save that, and now it's really easy. Is if I want to go to this page, I click here and it loads the page. So I can get to it without having to like try and copy it and paste it up in my web browser and things like that. So where it's asking for a URL, you paste it right in there, or you type it right in there. So that's another little nicety trick that I, while solving this problem, came across. I'm like, you know, I bet there's a way to do this. And sure enough, you type it in and it works, and it was a happy day. So what I really want now is when I click on this index page, not there, but up here, I want, on this index page, I want, when I click on Mad Libs, I want it to go to my Mad Libs folder. When I click on Electric Dreams, I want it to go to my Electric Dreams folder. But I'm not going to put those in my folder, so I'm not going to go on my, on my desktop and go into here. I'm not going to put those folders in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to link to those other online folders. And that was the problem, is last time we cloned folders into this directory, and then we thought, oh, that'd be good because local testing works great. And you're like, sweet, I'm good. And then you go online and it's totally broken, and then you cry in the corner. And it's a sad moment. But what I discovered is we need to use the submodule command. So if I want to add my Mad Libs project to this so that I can link to it, what I need to first find out is what is my cloning URL for that project. So I'll just go into my repositories, I'll go find Mad Libs and say, oh, there is my cloning address. So I'll copy that to the clipboard. So copy that to the clipboard. And once I've copied that to the clipboard, this is where we wander over into terminal. Now in terminal, I am inside my folder. So I can list the files that are there. I can see I have my README, I have my index. And now what I'm going to do is not clone this time. Last time we cloned, and that was the mistake, and I apologize for that. I screwed up. But this time we say git submodule add. And just move this up a little bit. Git submodule add. And then I paste that URL. So I'm adding in my Mad Libs. Return. And now you can see, oh look, it says it's cloning it in, blah, blah, blah. All right. Having done that, if I go back to my repository, we will see. Oh. After we have done git submodule add, we have to do our usual git add, and the easiest is just to say all again. Then git commit -m add madlibs. Oh. Okay, so I've added in my madlibs. Now, one thing I'll notice is it created a file here, a git modules file. And this is part of what we were missing last class, is when we create these submodules, GitHub requires a git modules file. And it wasn't actually making that before. Now I can say git push origin master. And it pushes that up. So to repeat, it was git submodule add with a cloning address, git add all, git commit with your commit message, and then git push origin master. And if we go through all of those 4 steps, theoretically, it's going to work. And if I look here, I can see now it added my git modules file, and I now see a link to my madlibs folder. And if I click on that, it will bring me to my madlibs repository, showing me that it is indeed working. Madlibs is up, Electric Dreams will be coming. To add in my links onto my index here so that it works. Before I do that, I'll go in Madlibs and look at my starting file for Madlibs. It's called start.html. I was all set to call it index.html when I put in the link, so it would have broken, so I'm glad I double checked. So it's important to know that what is your file name. Some of you used index as your starting file name. Some of you left it as start. Some of you have even weirder names. I don't care. Index is probably the better option, and I should have called mine index. So I'm slap my hand, bad move on my part. So madlibs, capital Mad, LIBS, lowercase, and it will be start.html. That's the link that I need to now put on my index file here. So if I wander over into my Sublime here, I'll see Madlibs. I want to insert a link. So if I type A and hit tab, Sublime gives me all kinds of goodness there, so I don't have to type as much code. The less code you type, the more your program does for you, the less likely it is you will make errors. That's a good thing. So it is capital M-A-D, L-I-B-S, lowercase, start.html. So I know that's what mine is called. Yours will be whatever yours was called. Now I'm going to save this, add, commit, and push. Then I can go up to my Git page, and it should be working. But it does sometimes take a while for that to refresh on the Git page server. So you can do it. You're sure it's working. You look at the code. You're like, yes, it's working. You go to look at it, and it won't reflect the change. Know that you're right. It just takes a while for the server to populate with the updated content. So bop over to terminal. And at this point, git add. And now the only thing I changed here was my index. So I could just say add index. I don't have to git add all. If I added everything and had a bunch of stuff, okay, fine. But in this case, I know all I did was change my index. So git add index, git commit -m, add link to madlibs, then git push origin master. Jump to my browser, refresh the page, click on index. We'll see that now that link does exist. Knowing it exists, if I go to the page itself, it does not show up here yet because, again, it will take the Git page some time. Could be 30 seconds, it could be 2 hours before it updates with the new content. Such is life. So I can go back to that.